Gary Chambers, who is definitely known for running ballsy campaign ads, is running for Senate in Louisiana. And his latest ad does not pull any punches. Let's watch.
They said, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. But here in Louisiana and all over the South, Jim Crow never really left, and the remnants of the Confederacy remain. In 1873, when a black man named PBS Pinchback won a US Senate race, he was never seated. They claimed election fraud. The attacks against black people, our right to vote and participate in this democracy are methodical. Gerrymandered districts are a byproduct of the Confederacy. Our system isn't broken, it's designed to do exactly what it's doing, which is producing measurable inequity. 1 in 13 black Americans are deprived of the right to vote. 1 in 9 black Americans do not have health insurance. 1 in 3 black children live in poverty. It's time to burn what remains of the Confederacy down. I do believe the South will rise again, but this time it'll be on our terms. I'm Gary Chambers and I'm running for the US Senate, and I approve this message.
So anyone who might be listening to the podcast version of the show, he burns a Confederate flag in that ad. And I love it. I love it. It's super powerful. Very curious to see how it plays out in a state like Louisiana. But it was courageous, it was brave, and it was a risky move that I really appreciate and respect.
Yeah, so look, I'm really proud that a lot of you saw Gary Chambers for the first time on TYT. He had done a speech at a local council event, and we featured that. Then we had Gary on as a guest, and then we had him on as a guest host. And I thought, this guy is amazing. And then he ran for Congress, and he did shockingly well. So I tried to help him there, and unfortunately, a lot of progressives did not step up for him in his congressional run. And he barely lost. He did so well and all on his own. This guy's an unbelievable fighter. This is exactly the kind of guy we need, okay? So make sure that you're helping Gary if you're a progressive. And look at that. You think a guy who does that ad is gonna listen to Democratic leadership when they tell him, no, Gary, it's not time for higher wages. No, Gary, it's not time for healthcare for everyone. No, Gary, it's not time for voting rights. No. He's gonna go fight. That's why the media will despise him. It is not very civil to burn a Confederate flag. Goddamn right it isn't. Way to go, Gary.
Yeah, I love the imagery there. All right, I also wanted to give you some more context about what's happening in Louisiana in regard to gerrymandering, because much like states like Alabama, there is gerrymandering taking place that specifically places black voters in one district, okay, where the majority happens to be black voters. So the ad's release, which by the way, the ad is titled Scars and Bars, coincides with the state legislature's ongoing special session to redraw the state's political lines, in which activists are campaigning for an expansion of majority black districts. Chambers led a rally for that very cause on the steps of the Louisiana Capitol steps on Wednesday morning, and that's according to the Daily Advertiser. Lawmakers, by the way, will have until February 20th to redraw the state's congressional districts. Census data show that roughly 1/3 of the state's population identifies as black, but only one of the state's 6 congressional districts has a majority minority population. Again, very similar to the story that we covered about Alabama and its gerrymandering.
Yeah, and he said a couple things in that ad that were really important substantively, and I don't want you to lose track of it because of the Confederate flag burning that draws so much attention. That's good. I'm glad he had the courage to do that. Now, damn right, you burn swastika flags if you want, and Confederate flags. So that stood for slavery, and I don't care anyone who sheds a tear about burning a Confederate flag, okay? But he also made substantive points about, hey, gerrymandering was exactly for racist reasons. It sprung from the Confederacy to try to deny black people to vote. And the person he talked about there that had won the seat to go to Capitol to represent Louisiana was just denied the seat. And why? They claimed voter fraud. Yeah, black people were so in charge back then that they were able to do voter fraud and get away with it. It's absurd. Of course it wasn't voter fraud back then, and of course it's not voter fraud now. It's just an excuse to be racist. So that's why I love what Gary's doing, because they're not gonna be able to tell him to shut up and sit down. It's just not gonna work. And of course, everyone who goes to Congress, the very first thing is that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer tell them to shut up and sit down. And no, we're not gonna get voting rights. We just want you to cheerlead for us anyway. We need more Democrats. Good, we'll send Gary, see how you like that. By the way, if you wanna help him, chambersforlouisiana.com, chambersforlouisiana.com. We'll put the link down below later if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, because that's a progressive who's gonna fight for you. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.